This is about me making this little drum pincushion. Now this one is fairly small. You can make them any size you want to. What I'm going to show you today is just the technique on how to put it together and sew it together. But you can do it any size you want to. I've got one that I've done a lot larger. I did this one about 2 years ago with these little rabbits on it, cross stitch. I believe this is a Brenda Gervais pattern called what's it called? Jubilee or something like that. Easter Jubilee or Jelly Bean Jubilee. I can't remember the name of it, but this is a cute little pattern by Brenda Gervais. But this drum pincushion is a lot larger than this one. So I'm just showing you this so you can decide what you want. You can make them smaller, fatter, shorter. But I decided I wanted a little one, so you guys decide what size you would like for your little pincushion. But today I'm going to try to match this one as close as I can, this size. So let's get started. Put my camera down on my little work table here. First of all, you're going to need your Southern Sisters sewn on to your fabric here. You need it all embroidered, all sewn on. And I'm using a 1-inch dress for my Southern Sisters. Where's my little template? I've got a little triangle cut out that I measured. It's 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch. And I just got my little dress on the fabric first, and then I started adding the rest of their body. So that's how I did that. And this one I also did a little different. I actually put grass and flowers down here. This one I did not. So I may have a problem sewing these. I've got a seam between each one. And I'm not sure I'll be able to make that seam, but I'm going to try because I put French knots. I didn't think about this when I was making these, when I was sewing this on. I put a French knot right there, and I'm not sure if my sewing machine will go over it. But I will try because I really want that seam between each one because there's going to be batting behind here. So that's what I want to do because I really want it to have some batting behind. Just like the way it looks. All right. Okay, the next thing, let me move on. I got to move on. You're going to need 2 strips of fabric. I'm using 2 different colors. You can do whatever you want. I used a light blue up here and a pink down here. So on this one, I believe I'm going to do this up here and this down here. Now these sisters are measuring out to be 7.5 inches by 3 inches. And this is Kona fabric. I get it from Hobby Lobby, and you can get it from Amazon or Missouri Star Company. I used to get it from Joann's, but they went out of business, so scratch that. But anyway, I know Hobby Lobby right now still sells it, and I really like working with Kona. I just like the way it sews up. So I got these, like I said, they're 7.5 inches by 3 inches. So that's the size of my 4 Southern Sisters here. Now I'm going to take my top piece here and I'm just going to lay it down because I want to be sewing it like this. So I'm just going to give that a couple of pins here. And just make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end, and just sew like 1/4 of an inch, but always make sure, flip it over to make sure that if you sew that 1/4 of an inch, you're not catching the sisters' heads or hair. Because I had one I came very close to chopping off here. when I sewed that one on. So these look like they're going to be okay. And you can do the same on the bottom. You're just going to put your strip of fabric down here and pin it on. Right sides together. And I'm going to be sewing that on. So let's do that. So anyway, here they are. I pressed them out, pressed the seams down. So I'm going to trim it up so they're all matching on the edge here. Looking good. All right, the next step is you're going to need some batting. I've already cut a piece of batting. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of quilting on here. And like I said, a little bit is really little bit. These seams right here, in between each sister, I'm going to do. So I'm going to start up here at the edge and go to the other edge and go in between each sister. And this is optional. You don't have to do that, but I like the way it looked, and hopefully I can get past these couple of flowers that are here with French knots and not have a problem getting my sewing machine to sew through it. So I'll be right back. Let me go to the sewing machine, get these sewn on, these stitches, and I'll be right back. I had no problem sewing over the embroidery stitches. I went right beside this one and it didn't slow it at all. So that's good. I wasn't sure about that. Okay, so let's trim this up. Oh, they're going to be so cute. My goodness. Now this one may be a little bit larger depending on how much I want to keep on the top and the bottom. So I may make this one a little bit taller. I know it's going to be the same size as far as the how big around it's going to be because I measured it. But this, depending on how much fabric I cut off on the top, will determine how tall this is going to be. And I may make it a little bit taller. Let me see. I fold it down like that. Or I can even fold it closer. So I may just keep it a little bit, let me see. Just what you want. If you want more fabric at the top and make it a little bit taller. I like that. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit more up here. And a little bit more down here. Better cut it straight or my pincushion's going to be crooked. There. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the sewing machine. And I'm just going to stitch along the seam here. and make sure I catch the back on the front, on the top, and on this side. All right, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've gone and stitched, ran a running stitch along the seam there on both sides. And you can trim this up if you want to. Let me see, I'll trim a little bit off of here too, the bottom. Okay, so the next step is we're going to sew this together and make our drum. So you need to put right sides together, match them up, and just go do a running stitch and make sure you've got enough room over here so you don't catch your little lady there, which I've got plenty of room on both sides. Okay, I've got it sewn together. Cut all my threads here. Okay, then we're gonna turn it so the right side is out. This is going to be darling, I'm telling you. So, so cute. Okay, so we got our drum part done here. Let me kind of see. Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit bigger. Because I sewed, as you can see, I sewed it closer down on the white Kona. Still going to be darling. All right, next, I need to stay focused, y'all. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we're going to work on the top here. All right, so we need to make this part here, which is done with cardboard, some batting, and some stuffing. And I'll show you how I do it. I just drew a circle. With this one, I just drew a circle. But then I remembered, oh my goodness, I have these. I have this. And I thought, well, maybe this will work. Me drawing the largest circle. I got these off of Amazon. This is not going to be big enough. Well, you can also just lay this down and go around it like that, which I think that's the way I'm going to do it. Or just use a circle, whatever you got in the house, make a circle and just keep trimming around until you get the size you need for this. So I think I'll do that. All right, I'm going to be using some cardboard. Now you can use any cardboard you want. This is pretty hard cardboard. You can get it off a cereal box. I mean, you know, that type of cardboard. It's got some little strength to it, so it doesn't bend real easy. I bought this off Amazon, and it's called Chipboard. And it's 50 points, so I guess that's the strength of it. And I use this a lot for everything. So the next thing you need to do, you're going to need to make 2 circles, one for the top and one for the bottom, because this one down here has got the cardboard, and that'll keep it standing straight up. All right, give it some. Oh, I'm sorry, I knocked the camera, y'all. Sorry about that. Give it some strength on the bottom so it'll be flat, and also, you know, stand straight and don't fall over or lean. So I'm going to just use this, like a circle, and get my paper cutting scissors, which I cannot find at this moment. So I'll use these. These will work. And I'm just going to make it a little bit larger than what I drew out. Oh wow, this is pretty thick, but this will work. I know this is going to be too large. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep cutting it down until I get it the size I want that will fit. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's a beautiful day here in Texas again. In the summer, we have a lot of just sunshine and heat. A lot of heat. All right, it's getting close. Wow, that's close. Very close. Let me see if I can fit it in there. It's got to fit right inside. Like this is set down in just a little bit. So it needs to fit right inside. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to trim off a little bit more. Is that going to work? So once I get the size for the top, I do the same for the bottom. I just cut the same circle out for the bottom. Okay, I'm going to cut it a little bit smaller, and the reason why is because I'm going to have fabric covering this, and I need a little bit more, I need to be a little bit, what am I trying to say? Less tight. So I can wrap that fabric around the edges to cover it. So you just keep playing with it until you get it fitting a little. I mean, you want it to be tight, but not real tight that you can't put fabric around it. Just do a little bit more. Okay, I think that's going to work because I'm not having to force it in there. It just fits in there. Let me just push it down here to the other end. They should be the same size. I'm going to make sure, because this end will also be covered with fabric. It's kind of tricky. Just keep playing with it until you get it in there straight. Whoops, I know what's going on. It's got caught on that seam. There we go. Okay, that's going to work too. Alrighty, so we got our circle, so we got to cut out another one. Remember, we need 2 of them. So let's cut out another one. It should fit fine. I'm going to test it anyway. Take a little bit more off. I didn't like the way it fit. Okay, that will work. Alrighty, got our circles made and cut out. So the next thing is you're going to need some batting, some more batting. We're going to be working on the top. So we're going to be making this little dome here. And how I do it is, let me get this piece. I cut out a piece of batting. Well, I'll need to get me better scissors. We're basically going to build up this little top here. So I start with one piece of batting on top, and I'm just going to cut some more little circles and making them smaller every time I cut one. They don't have to be perfect, as long as they're a little bit smaller, and I'm going to stack them up like pancakes. Y'all see what I'm doing? Just stacking them up. I need to make that one a little bit smaller. And depending on how tall you make it is how high this is going to be. You definitely want enough batting in there, and I'm going to be putting stuffing in here too, to be able to put your pins in there and they stay. So I'm going to put one more little circle of batting. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I will do one more little tiny one. There. Okay. Okay, next is got to pick your fabric you want to put on the top here and on the bottom. I use a Velveteen on the top and the bottom, but you can use any fabric you have. I just like the Velveteen. I've got it to use, so I thought I'm going to use it up. And I like to use it on my pincushions because I think it looks pretty. And I buy mine from Lady Dot Creates. She's on, I believe it's Etsy. And beautiful. She's got some beautiful stuff, let me just say. All different colors. To choose from. So I thought this would be really pretty with this blue. So, all right, so we need to get this shape here done. And what I do, I lay a larger circle. I want to make it like 1.5 inches away from this. And I'm just eyeballing it. You can always trim it up and cut more off, but you can't add any, so make sure you get it big enough when you cut. Of batting. Now you're going to take your circle and you're going to just do a running stitch around your circle, your top here. I'm using matching thread. I'm going to have to edit this video somehow because I messed up. And I'm having to go back and fix something. So hopefully this makes sense to you guys. So you're just going to do a gathering stitch around here, around the edge like this. And before I pull it all the way tight, I'm going to put my stuffing in, like that. This, lay it right here on top, like that. And push it in. Just press it in like that. And let's pull this thread and see if it works. And see if you like that or not. If you like the way it looks, continue on. If you want it to be more higher up, you can add some stuffing right now. That would be good. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more stuffing. Because I want mine to be a little bit bigger. A little bit more rounder on the top. Okay. Let's pull that thread. See what we got here. A little bit more stuffing here. I don't like all those creases. Let's see if I can fill it out a little bit. Just keep playing around with it until you get it the way you want to look. It's okay to have these here. I just don't care for them. I want it to be as straight as possible. And some of those are going to be hidden once you get this pushed down. I think that's looking pretty good. So I think I'm going to just pull it a little bit more, as tight as I can. And let's attach. I'm just going to go back and forth. Oops, got to hold it on there because it will try to come off. Oh. And some of my batting's trying to come out. I think this is the hardest part right here, making this pincushion, or any pincushion that's got a dome on the top. At least I think so. Oh gosh, I almost threw it off the table. I was really pulling on it. I'm glad my thread didn't break. That wouldn't have been good. Can't hold on to it. I'm going to tie that off. Let's see what we got here. It's almost too fat for it. It's going to work. It's just a tight fit. And you want it to be a tight fit, but you got to work with it to get it in there. Okay, let's kind of put some pins on the side here to help hold this down so it doesn't keep trying to pop out until I get it sewed on. Okay, I've used some pins to keep this in place, so I'm going to start sewing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in. I've got my thread needle here, and I've got my matching thread. It's my matching thread, as close as I didn't want to have to go to the store and get new thread, so I'm just using what I've got, and it's going to match pretty good. It's pretty close. So I'm going to go in underneath here and just hide my knot. Go into the inside here. I'm going to press my knot down so you won't be able to see it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around, completely around the edge on the inside, catching the top piece and the inside of the rim. It's going to be a little tricky. It's going to take some time, but you can do it. It's just time consuming. It's not that hard to do. And it's hard for me to show you on the camera. I'm catching a little bit of that top part, my velveteen. And then I'm going to come over here to the side and catch a little bit of that. Catch a little bit of the top. Then catch a little bit of the side, inside. This is going to take a little while, but it'll be nice and wait a minute. Don't you just love it when your thread gets caught on the pins? Huh. Where's the other one? Let me just... There. It's going to be nice and neat all the way around. So I'll be back once I get this done. Okay, I've got it all sewn on. And this is how it's looking. I've got a few creases here, but that's okay. It's still going to be darling. It's hard to keep those creases out. And just being me being picky. So the next thing you need is what I do. I fill mine up with Poly-Fil and rice. I buy rice, the cheapest brand there is. And I use rice to weigh it down so it has some weight to it. And I've used used rice. I've been making pincushions for years now using rice. I've never had a problem with it, you know, not working out. So, and I saw this. Someone was doing a craft one time and they said, oh, I just use rice. Some people use beans to weigh things down, but I think rice would work better for a pincushion. So I'm just got a little cup here that I'm going to use to help fill up my pincushion. Because you need some weight. Like this one, I've got a little bit of weight to it because I filled it up with rice. So it just depends on how heavy you want yours to be and how much rice you want to put in there. But I'm going to stuff mine first, a little bit of stuffing in there. And then I'm going to pour some rice, just a little bit of rice. Push it down in there, mix it in with the stuffing. I think I want a little bit more. I'm comparing the two. Want a little bit more. Just depends on how heavy you want it to be. I think that's going to do it. I want to stuff this up really good. Good and tight. Y'all, we're almost done with this. Hope this video turns out okay. I had to stop it in the middle of it and delete some stuff because I had an issue. I had an issue, y'all. That had to do with my pincushion. Okay, let's lay this aside. Let's get our bottom piece. Remember, this is the circle you cut out earlier of that cardboard, that clipboard. And that's the bottom part. So I'm gonna just sew around the edges here, gathering stitch. Kind of like if you're making a yo-yo. Someone's requested if I do a video on yo-yos, on how I make them. And I will, eventually. I've got it on my list to do. I love making yo-yos. I've got my sewing machine sitting on a little pad that I made just with yo-yos, using yo-yos. I think they're so pretty. So yes, I will do a yo-yo video on how to make those, or how I make them. There's different ways to make them. I'll show you how I make them. Okay, got that gathered around just like a yo-yo would be. I'm going to put this inside. This will not have any batting. I'm sitting in my craft room or sewing room in front of the window. I don't know if y'all can hear my neighbor mowing his yard, but if you're hearing some loud noise, that's what's going on. He started mowing his yard and I can hear him very clearly, but I'm not sure if the video can hear him. So we're just going to attach this. That's how it's going to look. I'm just going to run a couple stitches across to the other side. It's going to stay on with no problem, but I'm just doing it because I've got the thread to do it. Okay, just tie a knot here. Doesn't matter how this looks because you're not going to be seeing it. You basically just want this attached to that clipboard or whatever you're using, cardboard. All right, I'm going to need to get some more thread because we're finishing up, people. Well, there you go. And we're going to use the same technique that we did on the top, attaching that top piece. So make sure you got it stuffed the way you want it. And the weight. And I think that's going to be good. So let's push this down. Just like the top part, you're going to have to just kind of play around with it until you get it all in there. And needles will help. To keep it in place. Till you start the sewing here. This is the only part that takes longer to do. Other than that, it's pretty fast. Okay. Sure this. Yep, it's going to stand up straight. All right, guys. Well, what I want to do, I'm going to start sewing around. Hide my knot in here. You can use your needle to bring that fabric up to meet it. See, it's kind of poking out a little bit here. I just use my my needle to help bring that up a little bit. So, push my knot in there. And I'm just gonna basically do a little whip stitch around here to catch the bottom part and the side part. And of course, you've got to be aware of your straight pins because they're going to try to catch the thread. That's always fun. And I don't mind too much if my stitches show right here. As you can see on this one, I did it like that. But if that bothers you, you can hide them on the inside like you did the top part, or like I did the top part. And I'm using the blue thread down here also, but you could use white if you want to. I'm going to move that pin out, it's in my way. Use my needle to pull that up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to continue sewing around here till I get this done, and I'll be right back. Okay, it's all done. Got the bottom sewed on. Stands up really good. Love it. I just love it. This one did turn out a little taller, but that's okay. But isn't it adorable? Oh my goodness. And with that stuffing, it's got plenty of stuffing and that batting in the top. You can use it as pins. I put the pins up there. You can even use the side as a pin cushion too. It doesn't have to be the top either. You just use, but I like to use the top. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. I had fun doing it. Took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take on camera. So anyway, I want to edit it a little bit. So hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Anyway, if you do have any questions, just let me know. And have fun. All right, keep on stitching, you guys, and I will see you soon. All right, God bless. Bye-bye now.